Hi, I'm Mr. New Jersey. Several years ago, I was at a family party in North Jersey's Sussex County. One of the guests at this party was a history teacher, a family friend. So we spent a while chatting about New Jersey history and geography. Eventually, he started asking me trivia questions about New Jersey, and one of them was, which two states does New Jersey have a land border with? Looking at any map, the answer seems obvious: New York and Pennsylvania. All New Jerseyans think of those states as New Jersey's prominent siblings, and we're all right next to each other. I'm sure this history teacher expected me to say New York and Pennsylvania as my answer, but I had spent too much time in my life looking at New Jersey maps to fall into his trap, so I responded instead with the actual answer: New York and Delaware. What? You might be thinking. But Pennsylvania's right there, and Delaware is all the way across a bay, right? Well, Pennsylvania's border with New Jersey is actually right down the middle of the Delaware River, so the two states don't actually touch on land. New Jersey's border with Delaware is more complicated, and the story takes us back to the colonial era. William Penn is most famous for being the founder of the colony of Pennsylvania, but he also has strong historical connections to Delaware. After he founded Pennsylvania, he wanted to expand his domain to get direct access to the Delaware Bay and the Atlantic Ocean, so he soon acquired counties on the lower Delaware River from the Duke of York. William Penn allowed Pennsylvania proper and his counties on the Delaware River to have separate legislatures, though he was governor of both. The two regions continued to have the same governor for many years, until 1776, when Delaware seceded from Pennsylvania and Britain simultaneously. In any case, when the Duke of York had given the counties that would become Delaware to William Penn, the Duke defined the north boundary of this Delaware territory as including a 12-mile circle around the town of Newcastle, including the waters of the Delaware River and all the islands within it up until the New Jersey coast on the other side. This border is unusual because in most water borders between U.S. states, the border lies halfway across the river. So, for instance, the New Jersey-Pennsylvania border on the Delaware River runs straight down the middle, giving each state equal river access. Then, when you get far enough south that it becomes a New Jersey-Delaware border, Delaware gets the entire river and New Jersey gets none. That is, until you get 12 miles south of Newcastle, and the border returns to normal, running in the middle between New Jersey and Delaware, along the Delaware River and Delaware Bay. Very strange. The awkward situation of Delaware getting the river right up to the New Jersey coast actually has practical effects, and the two states have had cases about it go to the U.S. Supreme Court several times. The most recent example is from 2007, when the British Petroleum Company tried to create a natural gas plant on the New Jersey coast. The plan was set to take place in New Jersey, except for some piers which would have to stretch into Delaware's waters in order for ships to dock at them. A Delaware Environmental Regulation Agency refused to approve construction of the piers, but New Jersey really wanted the plant built due to all the energy it would bring the region. Tensions between the two states heated up, and New Jersey politicians jokingly suggested that they would restart the battleship New Jersey, presently a museum, and sail it to Delaware to assert New Jersey's control by force. Instead, the two states ended up in the U.S. Supreme Court, in a case titled New Jersey versus Delaware. The Supreme Court sided with Delaware, affirming its right to block the piers. At this point, you may be thinking, well, that's all very interesting, Mr. New Jersey, but it still doesn't explain why New Jersey has a land border with Delaware. Where do the two states actually meet on land? Well, if you've seen my video explaining why most of Ellis Island is actually in New Jersey rather than New York, you'll know that according to the U.S. Supreme Court, if there is a border agreement between two states, where one state controls land and the other state controls the water touching it, artificially expanding the land does not grow the borders of the state with the land and shrink the state with the water. Instead, the state which owns the water also gets to own any artificial land built within its waters. If this explanation was confusing, I'll link the video about Ellis Island in the video description, which may help clear it up. In any case, at one point the Army Corps of Engineers did work dredging the Delaware River to make it deeper and more easy to navigate. They moved dredged up land onto the New Jersey side of the river, but since the water where they put it was part of Delaware, the reclaimed land thus belonged to Delaware. Ultimately, New Jersey ended up bordering Delaware by land in two places. Neither of the pieces of Delaware that border New Jersey have any substantial civilization on them, and both, for the most part, are illegal for people to visit, so you shouldn't go seeking them out. But I'll discuss them now. The larger of the two pieces borders New Jersey's Pennsville Township. The area is a nature preserve with some dirt roads mixed in. For a while, because the area is part of Delaware, the Pennsville police were not allowed to enforce the law in the area, and it became a haven for crime. A body was found there, car thieves would abandon their stolen cars there, and kids would go there to take drugs illegally and party. Whenever the Pennsville police thought something illegal was going on, they'd have to contact Delaware law enforcement and have them drive all the way in from the main part of Delaware, which was obviously a convoluted process. Thankfully, in 1989, the Delaware Attorney General authorized the Pennsville police to go into the area and enforce New Jersey's laws, so it can no longer function as a haven for criminals in quite the same way. Although it's a nature preserve and you generally shouldn't go there, I was able to get a good view of the border area from across the river in Newcastle, Delaware. Hello everyone, I am in Newcastle, Delaware. This is the final stretch of the Delaware River as it empties into Delaware Bay. So you can see the Delaware Memorial Bridge up there. And on that side is heading towards the bay. If you look along the New Jersey coast across the river, you'll see the city of Pennsville. Then you'll see a patch of trees, and if you look far enough, those trees empty off into some flat land. And somewhere in this natural area is the New Jersey-Delaware land border. If you look far enough, you can see one of New Jersey's nuclear plants behind the land. The other spot where New Jersey and Delaware share a land border is farther south. It is called Artificial Island, and is at the edge of New Jersey's Lower Alloways Creek Township. This site straddles the 12-mile circle, with most of the site being fully in New Jersey, and the tip of the site stretching just a little bit into Delaware's side of the circle. The area is controlled by PSEG, which operates nuclear energy plants in the New Jersey side of the area. One of these is the nuclear plant you were able to see in the distance in the previous video. That's all I have to say about the New Jersey-Delaware border. I hope you learned something new in this video. If you did, please like the video and hit the notification bell to be notified of new content I release. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.